the protest started, and I realized like in 1 year I'm going like I went to the dance group, and the teacher telling me, "Wow, Ellie, you hear the music so well. You hear it like the best girl. Like you hear so small notes, what I haven't heard before." People start to tell me, "Oh my God, you are so good with the rhythm." All in one day they told, "You have so beautiful voice. Let's just play and just take my."
Hello, everyone. I am your host, Lion, and I believe we are conditioned to fear in a way that holds us back. This is especially true if you are a woman, and I am very passionate about bringing you the voice of women who have done a lot to overcome some of these fears. Elia is such a magical being. She grew up in Russia as a Tartar and immigrated to the US as an adult. Despite being conditioned all her life to need a man to do life with, she found the courage to find her independence and empowerment. She is a very interesting combination of softness, courage, and perseverance, and I am just so excited to share her with you.
Hello and welcome to everybody. Yeah. Hello and welcome to everybody. Oh yeah, hi, hi. Hello and welcome everybody to this episode of the Get Out of Your Comfort Zone podcast. I am your host, Lion, and I am just so excited to be here today because we are coming back to you after quite the break. It's been some time since we produced our last episode, and since then, as is the case with life, there have been a lot of changes. There's changes within me, there's changes in the world, and there's also changes on how we are choosing to record this show. And so, with that, I would like to say hello, Elia.
Hello to everyone who looking for that podcast for this interview from all my heart.
Amazing. May I take a few moments to introduce you to the audience?
Of course, of course.
Amazing. So, you all should know that I am an immigrant to the United States. And as an immigrant, and as somebody who has lived in multiple other countries and has seen a bit of the world, I believe that more than the gold, more than the oil, more than the land, more than anything, immigrants are our greatest treasure in this here United States of America. Okay? And if you disagree with me or if you want to know more, feel free to use the link below to message me and engage me, and I'd be more than happy to expound. So, yes, I believe that immigrants are the greatest treasure that we have in this country, and it's been a while. I don't remember the last time we got to interview an immigrant on our podcast. And so it brings me great joy to introduce Elia, an immigrant from Russia um, who grew up in a Tartar family. That's a people that I don't know a lot about that, we're going to learn a little bit about today. And her story, um, not only as an immigrant and the worldview that she was raised with, but also coming to America and, grappling with the same kinds of things that people who are born here have to go through, you know, which is trying to find, your identity, making the meaning of life in a way where you're not thinking about, the survival instinct. Um, to that end, I want to say Elia is not a human. Elia is a being. um, I'm joking. Obviously, she's also a human. But Elia is a phoenix who rose from the ashes after being burnt very, very intensely through some life experiences that she went just over 2 years ago. And so, as part of getting to know her and the magic that she brings to the world, we're going to learn about that as well as this, in her own words, this cage of fear that was her life. This cage of fear that her life was architected to be through her conditioning, through her society, all of which is normal, what a lot of us think is normal. But if you've watched The Matrix, I'm joking. In any case, so Elia is going to talk about that, especially as a woman, because you all know by now, I am very, very, very passionate about eviscerating, about bringing to light a lot of the fears that rule women's lives, because so many of the women that I love so very dearly have struggled through that. And Elia is just such a great example of how she has, through her trials and tribulations, found ways and learned how to transcend those fears. Elia, is there anything that you would like to add before we move on?
Actually, I was so like inspiring what you told now. I'm like, wow, it's so beautiful words. And that comparing me with Phoenix, because if to be honest, I really like had this comparison in my head, like with the Phoenix that burning from the ashes. And actually, yeah, last year it was with Phoenix Bird. But now for some reason I start a lot of about the Kali, the goddess coming. So she need to destroy to build something new. And I think exactly that's what maybe happened with my life
Hell yeah.
moment.
Hell yeah. Thank you for sharing that note about Kali, which I'm guessing is Kali Ma, one of the um, archetypes of God within the Hindu faith. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So with that, I guess could you begin by telling us the story of how you and I met and how we ended up here in this powerful little place?
Oh my God, I remember that day so clear. It was last year. I could tell even the day. It was September 21st last year. I think it was September 31st. It was because I have birthday in September. I remember it was couple days before that. And I just came back from like from Hawaii. From Hawaii, I spent there 3 months. I went to the Burning Man, and I was so full of that creative fire. And I was getting ready to go to Sedona, and you like. And I remember some of our mutual friends was creative, beautiful gathering circle event. It's named Gaia Circle, and yeah, and they invited me to play ecstatic dance, my Burning Man set. And I remember how the energy was unforgettable and the face felt so warm. And after I played the set, I remember it was like the yard, and I went a little bit on the back on the stairs to see, to take a breath, to come back to my center. And you came and you sat like near to me, like close to me. Yeah, so exactly. You just sat and you just start to ask me the question who I am, what I'm doing, and how like I start DJing, and how like I end up in that place. And I didn't know anything about you that time. I was just talking to you. And in one moment, I remember you was just like, Elia, I want to invite you to the podcast. Doing the podcast, the interview, and I seen you something, and I want to invite you. And it's really surprised me first. Like I didn't expect at all. But at the same time, I felt like the wave of the energy that came at that time, and it was like some new door open, because I never, and actually, this is my first time podcast talking to the camera, especially on English, not my native language. And I remember you told me that words. Just write me when you gonna be ready, and I will make the process the smooth and easy, and I will take your hand and will just will help you to go through that. But I never thought that it will take. On that moment, I remember sitting in front of you. I would never thought that it would took for me almost a year to get to that spot. And it just like I came, just the life starts going on, traveling. I came back to San Francisco. I lived before in San Francisco Bay Area. Before that, just life started. Some things in my life, um, and just when I came back to Hawaii, like because when I came back to San Francisco, I got to this again survival mode, running, chasing, paying bills, try like just try to make it. And uh as a woman, as an immigrant,
Mhm.
I have started new life so many times, and but I've sometime deeply inside of me, for some reason, I didn't felt ready for interview because I was in that moving mode. But now when I'm second time came to Hawaii, now I've been here for 4 months,
Mhm.
living completely differently. Uh, I'm creating from the place where I am, getting the energy for this, putting to my music, to my sets. And in one moment, I remember I was sitting and I was just like, I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready to talk. I think it's perfect story now to share my story. And yeah, and just yeah, I just went with my intuition, and I'm like, okay, I think it's time.
Mm. Hell yeah. Yeah, it's so interesting that like we're gathering today after almost a year of like having met and like planting that seed. And a lot of times, from my experience, um, people don't follow up,
Well,
because of life. I mean, I'm not blaming anybody. And also, how, like, when inspiration strikes, a lot of times it's important to, like, honor it in the moment. But that's not always the case, as your story would point out. Sometimes some things you need to be pregnant with the seed for longer before we can make this baby together.
Yes, like this like thought that's like I'm like because I remember I so had the energy in the moment when I was sit with you on the stairs and to take that interview, but how to like just the life took me, but somewhere on the back of my head I had this thought, oh like but I still want to do this interview. But how I'm trying to go with intuition, but and now I feel like I, f- I feel ready to share this the story.
Yeah, well, you certainly have more stories that you've collected that we are going to benefit. And before, you were not in Hawaii.
Oh
And
no,
now.
it was a journey. It was a long way to come here. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've been in Hawaii now for a few months, so any case, we'll get to that. Um I would love to hear you tell us the story. Paint us a picture of your immigrant upbringing in a Tartar family, growing up what I assume would be in Russia, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Some of your family values and conditioning around men. And let's start there.
For my family, yes, I grew up in Tatar family, as in like in Russia, the city called Ufa. And by culture, it's like culturally, I was grew up in Muslim traditions. I had the Muslim family, but because it was in Russia, it's also quite mixed because they have like Christian families and different influence. And yes, I was born in Muslim family, but the city wasn't like really strict. I never wear the scarf, and for example, my family they ask me, do I want to wear it or do I want to go because we have separate schools where like it was more traditional ones and the boys and girls were studied separately, or we have mixed schools like classic normal schools like where like boys and girls are mixed, I mean like more classic one. And yes, and on that moment I said no, and I'm so grateful that they respected my choice. Even uh, uh, yeah, I just respect that they gave me some freedom to choose what I want to
Mhm.
do. And actually, my grandfather, he was an imam. It's like the spiritual leader, like in Islam. He's every morning he was waking up, do the praise, read Quran, and of course he tried like to give that tradition to the family.
Yeah,
So so I grew up in that environment um where like the woman role was more like in I could say like in in supporting the man, like cooking, keeping the home, being like his foundation of the success. And actually all my life, because I grew up in that environment, this is what I saw from my grandmother, from my mother. This is was the model of life for me. And and for a long time, so now I'm th- 35 years old, so I could tell just 2 years ago my life to start to changes. For a long time I thought it was my past too, to dedicate myself to the family life, to serve and support my partner. And also, I want to say it's nothing wrong with that. Serving your partner from the place of love and um, respect, but as you don't also betray yourself in the process. But in deep inside, I always had like my own ambitions, my own dreams. Uh, Even that I didn't know that I have them. I was like even afraid to think like about that the life could be different, the model of life.
Mm.
Yeah, so this is about like how I grow up in in traditions, and I don't know, like I I think I could tell like, but 2 years ago, um, what I wanted to share with the world, my life was completely changed.
Real quick, I'm sorry, before you get to that, um, because I do want to spend some time unpacking that. May I ask a quick question to set the stage for that?
Sure.
Amazing, thank you. So could you paint us a picture of what your life and career looked like before the 2 years that you want to get into? So help us, give us some context, paint us a picture of, your relationship, life, career. What did that look like going into that period that changed your life?
I think it was like I had like normal life, what will like be look like for the most of the people. So, to have family, to have regular office job, what you're going every day from 9 to 5. At the same
Mm,
time, like because my family, like they was like because they grew up in USSR, whereas like really people was like live for the government, to have to work for the government in
mm,
little job. My grandfather and my they because they just left, like the world war was finished. So they really was in surviving mode. My grandmother, she works on the three jobs, and they had like three kids, and she was really, and also plus this Muslim traditions when the woman like taking care most of the house, and uh,
mm,
so it wasn't just, and I had relationship. I lived with the man. I tried to make my uh career first when I was younger. I worked in the visa agency. I did the visas.
mm,
Also, when I remember, but after I get to relationship and the COVID started, I I did the programming too, but in one moment I realized that it's not my path to sit near a computer and like to do the program work. And even I had the time when me and my partner we made the decision that I will just support him, that so he will work, he will do the career, and I will take care of the house, of the pets, like we didn't had kids. So I would be uh like and I was so happy, and I thought that's okay, that's the life. But was I really happy that time? I'm still
mm,
asking myself that question, because in that life wasn't really like life. I could say I always like, I mean, like I had family, I love my partner, I have the house, I have the pets to take care of, but I always had this emptiness about who I am to this world, what I want to do. But I never really had time really to think about that or to go
mm.
deeper to that, and or just to find time, like, or even to think to start something new.
Yeah, that's very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And so, with that, yes, please tell us. about how your healing journey started 2 years ago with the very intense experience. Please paint us a picture and what you went through the fire.
So how it's all like I had normal life and everything was quiet and normal. And I mean, like, even I had like, it wasn't even like just one, like, I could tell, like, to like for 15, 20 years old relationship, I was going like for one, sometimes like the partners were like changing. But 2 years ago, my life like completely changed. Uh, I experienced sexual violence,
Mm,
and it happened actually um with it's had it I mean, like, it was really close, like, people like who did that to me. And um I could tell like these people I knew like from my school time and some family friends. And yes, it was sexual violence. And for uh, a long time I couldn't speak about that. Even maybe that was the reason when I was postponed our interview, because this is actually my
mm,
first time ever speaking to that, to the public, to someone so openly. And because um it was really hard for me last 2 years, especially very first year after when just it happened, because it was police involved, courts and everything. And I needed to make some decisions. And yes, and I needed time to heal and to find my voice even again.
mm,
Uh, because I remember in the first 3 months, even my world like just was falling apart. And there was the days when I couldn't get out from the bed, uh, because I was just trying to gather my pieces together little by piece, because I was afraid if I will get out and go to the world, I will need to do some toxic things, just like just to live in the world and to
mm,
pretend that everything is normal. And it wasn't at all easy, because it was a court process. And my relationship, what I had and what I couldn't survive that, like, not even was just this reason, but just the weight of what was going on with me and what happened, it just was hard to go through. But this is what start of rebirth. This is when like the phoenix started, like, let's say, be created. Yes. And I was no longer living the life I living before. And I realized I needed to start to build a new one from the ground up. And
mm.
uh yes, I felt like my whole world was just collapsed. And um I was really exhausted between going to police, going to court, trying to survive emotionally. I was just exhausted. And yeah, yeah, and yeah, that's what happened.
And um, one of the things that you had shared is that some of the people who were very close to you normalized the sexual violence that you experienced. Um, Go ahead.
Yeah, it's not normal. It's like very first I told just to my partner, but I mean, like, when you are telling it to the man and like it's one, but the woman really need woman, I think, just woman can understand sometimes woman maybe. But I started like maybe to like you know, at the kitchen, like when we like sit together with my friend, like drinking tea or something, and like my heart was just crying, and I was like, and I told like to my close friend, and after like to another close friend, you know, like one, two, and after I start to realize like it's happened almost with each woman what
mm,
I was talking to, and I was sharing the experience. And I realized that almost every woman, or even sometimes a man, like had that in their life, but they're afraid, they shy, what happened with them, and they cannot talk. And even I did once anonymous because I so wanted support and to understand what happened
mm,
with me, because I had a lot of questions. And I real and because sometimes people they didn't how to react, and and like even my close friends or even my mom, they will start to ask the questions. Are you sure you didn't do anything wrong? Are you sure you didn't look like in some
mm,
way to him? Are you sure like uh that's like n- nothing? And I start sometimes even to think like, is it really happen? And like, if I really didn't do anything wrong, I start to question
mm,
myself. But after I did the post, actually anonymous post on one of the groups, I didn't want that time that the world like to know my name. I wasn't ready
mm,
to share it. Then to got that all my friends around will know that, even the people who like around me. And when I did the anonymous post, I like came more than 400 was comments, more than
wow.
400 messages came to me, and there people was writing like with support, and that, and the people who I completely I don't know, and how bad it was, or that it's also happened with them, someone wrote, or they over, and I realized how big that thing what happened to me, that it's not a joke. It's not like, because even some friends thought, oh, like it's okay. I'm like, it's a man, he was just drunk, oh, like it's happened, like everything is normal. And when more almost 500 people wrote me, they didn't know to whom they're writing, I realized. And also I went through the therapy at the same time.
Mm,
I start to do a lot of, also like, I went to hypnosis. I did a lot of meditations. I tried to go to a lot of like kirtans, to
mm,
like some gurus if they were come, because, and I cannot tell like I really was like follower for that guru, but I just love the energy what's there around, just to be understand and heal. And I felt like every time, like small by small piece, I'm getting myself back. I just need like to start to like, at least to go out from the bad, you know, and to start on that time. I didn't know what journey I will have. Like I haven't been on
mm.
Hawaii yet. It was in San Francisco Bay Area. And so on that moment, I just needed like to get out from the bed, to start life, just to functioning, to work, and to do. And actually, yeah, I think that was about the friends, your question. I just had to roll.
No, I mean, I don't know what you're implying, but I think it's beautiful. The details, because you shared so much about, what contributed to your healing journey and the little pieces of healing that comprise your healing puzzle, be it kirtan, which is, a form of Hindu devotional singing, chanting, or different spiritual gurus in whatever capacity, you sort of saw them, be it if you shared, intimate details of what happened with you or not. And like the people that you met along the way, not just by what they said, but how their words, their love, guided you onto the next step of your journey.
Yes,
So,
oh, I'm so yeah, and actually I just realized I didn't tell like one of the main part of my healing journey. Uh because it just came together everything like at the same time. For some reason, like all my life I wanted like to play on some instrument or to sing or but it so happened that it's always like a teacher at school always told me to sing a little bit lower because she saw that I'm not singing well. When I went to dance, they told me I don't have rhythm and they didn't like take me. My mom told me that the bear like step and all these voices, were telling that I'm not good enough to like but I all deep inside that like, I so wanted to remember to play the piano or guitar or to sing, to go to music school, musician school. But I never even allowed myself. I was so like feel that I'm not good in that. Even I never even sing in karaoke before or in front of my friends because I was so afraid. I was so shy to do that. I never even touch other instrument, musical instrument, because I thought I'm not good enough, like even to make any noise, to make any note. And I was so broken. I remember I was laying in bed, like just do the scroll like on Instagram, and one ad show up that the the DJing school started. And I was like, interesting. And that I don't know, just something came to me, and I was like, my God, I think I will just go there just to cheer up myself and just will make the present to this, this a small girl who is inside of me and
hmm,
always wanted to know what is the music is, how it feels like to make music great. And I just sign up without any expectations. I didn't tell even to anyone that time because I was so shy and I didn't want that people expect from me something and I didn't want to achieve the result. I'm like, let me just know what music is.
hmm,
And this has really helped me through to go that because I needed to study to learn something new. So at the same time, I did yoga, meditation, like talking to people was different conversation, went to the therapy. And yes, and first, of course, the music helped me. I was putting there something, but after now, like I'll tell, like almost after 2 years later, it's become that I'm creating to heal someone, and I hope so. But people, and it feels great.
uh, you know, I wish my mother was here right now because similar to you, my mom grew up at some point being told how her voice sucks, how she can't sing, and I think there's a part of her. I don't know how big, but I know that there's a part of her that still believes that. And I think, if she could hear your journey, um, that she would realize because it's so true, like um, how the world based on their judgment. Basically, what I think you're saying is how the world based on their initial judgment just sort of um, criticizes you and tells you a narrative despite what you feel your desire within you, you know, um, and how you went through so much of your life, most of your life until this point. And then finally, that time came. And this is where, I think that life is just so magical because what if you weren't meant to discover music in the way that you have now? What if all that time you were meant to be pregnant with this desire for music and not being able to express it, and that energy just growing and growing and growing and growing. And then suddenly, you know, this intense fire, you know, of the sexual violence, and your whole world falling apart as you know it is the energy, the whatever to cause the desire of your music and the gift of your music to finally, that egg to break open, and this baby that is your love of music and your devotion to music, you know, because it is now a major part of your life path, right?
It's
um yeah.
and
And yeah, please go ahead.
and I just like had this like in my head that to like when I went to the DJ school, because I didn't expect from myself anything. I had just all these voices, what told me I'm not good enough, I don't have rhythm, I don't have voice, I don't have like ear. And the protest started, and I realized like in 1 year I went to the dance group, and the teacher telling me, wow, Ellie, you hear the music so well, you hear it like the best girl, like you hear so small notes, what I haven't heard before. People start to tell me, oh my god, you are so good with the rhythm. All in one day they told, you have so beautiful voice, let's just play and just take mic. Actually, you've been there when I was like, we were the event like to make like for the new year to make wishes through, and whereas I was
Yeah.
playing the set and with my voice like make a journey for the people, like
Yeah.
for what they want, like for their new identity, for the new life, for the new beginning. Actually, now people to telling me, "Oh, you will be not surprised if you will start to sing. You have so," and I was like, and I don't believe that this happening. And I'm like, really? So it's mean everything it could be learned, it could be teach, everything could come. And I had this everything in me. I just needed like a little bit to go to know deeper, maybe to have a little bit to be more brave. And like, but I mean, like, it's hard, of course. It's like when you, but yeah. So at the same time, how I told, like, I was broken, my healing journey was going, but at the same time, I start realize, like, of course, like, I had the fears, like, to go to the crowd, remember my to make to first play, but the same times I felt like I just started to roll and I couldn't stop. And last year end up playing two sets on the Burning Man on the Sunset, and I was like, is it real? I am
Mm.
I was like just 1 year teaching, like even 1 year wasn't go through that time, and I was like, is it real? Yeah.
So I think that's a wonderful segue because when we were together, you mentioned how the breakup was the best thing that ever happened to you, or that happened to you. And it helped you wake up more deeply to the power that you possess. Additionally, you mentioned how for most of your life was ruled by fears. And now you swim in the ocean with sharks and you climb volcanoes by yourself. You know,
Yes.
even I don't have the courage. I don't have the courage to do that yet, you know? Um to just in the way that you're doing. So I think that's so amazing. And you yourself said that now I feel like I can do everything by myself. Now, this is coming from a previous version of you when we were together, one of the things that I distinctly remember is such a big part of your conditioning around men is that you need a man to do life.
Yeah.
So focus a big part of your energy on finding a good man to do life with because you need a man to do life with.
Yes.
And now your reality is I can do everything by myself.
It's so true. It's so true. You just feel me so well. Yes, because all my life I was like feel like I need a man to even to close all my base, and I'm like, and I will support him. And like when the breakup happened, I was still so emotionally down, and I didn't, and actually and again I was in situation like it's again, but yes, I helped like to create the life and everything, but it wasn't like my home, nothing. It was like where's like the man, and I needed to leave from that home. I was so emotionally down. I'm like, what I'm gonna do? And actually, one of my friends told me, Elia, have you seen the tickets to Hawaii from Alaska Airlines just cost $100? They have some sale. And something happened with me in that moment. Something got shifted. And I remember was thinking like Hawaii, like I need, and everybody was telling you, what Hawaii? You need to figure out your life. You need to find a house where you need to move. You need like you have a cat, you have a car, you need like you have responsibilities. You need to do something. But
Mm,
something very deep inside was me so like this, and I'm like, what I'm gonna lose if like I will change my decision to go there was just $100? And I remember I just like got the ticket for the May 19th. It was supposed to happen like in 3, 4 weeks on that moment. And I just got, and if to be honest, was the best decision in my life I made. Because
mm,
when I came here, it started so different life, and because we had about my relationship with the men's, and I didn't realize that time, but I realized that, for example, if I'm going to like to make so small example, if we're going to the camp, like I need a man to put a tent to take care of me or something. But when I start to travel a lot, and I remember I put that tent by myself first time, my God, how I was proud of myself that now I can put a tent, you like to suit like just to live in life, that, and but it was a long journey like to make to be so fearless. And actually, if to talk about the relationship, I think now I finally, because my last year I was so enjoying of this new me what started to come out. It was so had so many fears, but it was so interesting at the same time to explore the world. And first time in my life I was the center of my world. I was like doing what I want and going where I want, but at the same time, of course, I needed like to work with my fears. But now I think I'm in the stage that I already know that I can do everything. Just few days ago, I heard so beautiful that the Shakti first she needed to climb the mountain. So after that, like to understand how powerful she is, that after that, from this equalness to get together with Shiva. And my God, when I heard that, I so just loved it. And I'm like, my God, I can climb the volcano. I can swim in the ocean by myself. But now I want to share with someone that moment and just to have someone in my life for love, for joy, to have this, like, to create this new life.
Just for the audience members who might have missed that, could you repeat that part that you said about the Shiva, about Shiva, and you know what was the thing that you heard that led to this realization?
Oh, so it was, I heard that, yeah, they just like bring together, like when I saw it, I'm like, my God, I see myself as the Shakti. So the Shakti, she needed to climb the mountain to realize how powerful she is. And after that, from this equalness to God, to like to relationship with Shiva.
So she had to wake up to her own power
Yeah.
by going through the test or the adventure, the journey that was hard. And when she woke up to her own power, she realized that she was just as powerful as Shiva.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes, and I mean, like, it's not like powerful. Of course, we have like different bodies. Of course, the man can like get more weight, or they going to the
mhm,
hunt or something like by nature. It was from all time. And I mean,
yeah,
like, but if needed, the woman can do everything, even also to climb the mountain, swim with the sharks, and it's about me, yeah. Or like to
yeah,
put
yeah,
to put a tent.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's
Okay,
so, yeah,
no, no, please finish what you're
yeah,
saying.
but it's so not be nice to be filled woman, when
Mhm.
like from the love, when you like like you want to do something for another person because you are so full and you know that you can do it, another person can do it, but you just, I think, but I mean, like, it's not my story yet, so I just can't talk about that in theory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you. Thank you for sharing that. Um, okay, so you uncovered a lot of your power as a result of, you know, um, the experience that you went through. However, that journey of ending up in Hawaii right now, the way that you are, entailed some very big decisions. And one of the things that you were telling me is that when you talk to your friends, there's so many who have a passion to want to walk in your shoes, to experience life the way that you are, right? Um, but there's so much fear around destroying the life that they've already built.
It's true. It's true. Yes, it's very true.
Yeah. And though we don't have the time to talk about the process of how you destroyed your life in the Bay so that you can have this new life in Hawaii and whatever comes after that. And, I think it's important to say that even though you destroyed your life in the Bay Area in San Francisco, I believe that, you know, if at whatever point you decide, hey, you know, there was nothing wrong with my life in the Bay, I'm ready to come back to a similar life, that you can, recreate it. I'm saying this from my own experience, you know. Like you have been through enough and you've done enough to where, considering how I've done it, I know that you can do it. But I think I say that because I think for a lot of people, it's easier to destroy the life that they currently have if they can feel more comfortable, more secure about the life that they're going to have, right? Um, and so, could you tell us the story of how you started to support yourself? You know, because from what I remember, you know, part of the challenge of your journey to Hawaii was just, you weren't able to figure it all out, before you arrived in Hawaii, and you had to just like take that leap of faith. Um, and so I'd love to hear the story of, your journey of how you started to support yourself once you destroyed your life, finding, housing. There was house sitting, finding a job, the retreat, like what that all looked like. Yeah, in as much detail as you care to share.
I'd love to. This is actually, I think, my favorite. Because I love to tell I love to talk about Hawaii because this is like just I love this place. So yeah, so when I first came to Hawaii, like it was last May, and I didn't know it will change my life so much. And thought I'm coming just for 2 weeks, maybe even less, and just like maybe to escape a little bit, like got a little bit to find the balance, and after to come back and to like figure out my life. But I was so lucky. I was found a house sitting opportunity. The family, they was traveling, they live in Oahu. It was my first island where I arrived. Right
Mm-hmm.
now I'm on the big island, and I live here. So they was traveling from Oahu to Israel,
Mm,
and for 2 months, and we met, and she also was in yoga teacher, and they even so we really had a lot of stuff in common. Even they left me their car, and I was need like to stay with take care of their three beautiful cats.
mm,
And I, I remember like I came so broken, but at the same time it's so beautiful everything around. Even these three cats was so supporting me,
mm,
and because it was like they really emotionally helped me, and it felt like the life was just holding me and giving me the space like to breathe, and for the first time for a very long time, and for the first time ever, I was alone. No partner, no friends, no, like, just me. And in that moment, also, I didn't really was looking for the company. I so wanted to be in my own, like, bubble to heal,
mm.
to be by myself a little bit. And I wanted, of course, like it's Hawaii. I wanted to go to swim. I want to hike. Like I had some drama in my life, but at the same life, like the life force is coming. You wanted to explore,
Yeah.
and realized that I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid to go to swim to the ocean. I always, what if the sharks there? What if the wave will like come on me? I was hiking in the forest. What if some man staying behind the tree and will attack me? Or if I will, because every way don't hike alone in the forest, and like if you will happen with you something, no one will know. You will sleep or sleep or like like and in one moment I start to catch it, and I start without like really pushing, just to face him a little bit, to swim farther, like hike deeper. And start to find out that nothing bad like really happening with me. The ocean didn't want to hurt me, the forest didn't want to harm me, and actually the nature was so like holding me in life and was like friendly. And yeah, and I start to work with my fears, and one of my biggest tasks came for July 4th last year. This is actually the
Mm,
day when my grandfather died like Memorial Day, and I cannot really like to be with my family in that day to remember him, to spend that day together. And I was like, my God, what I could do the day. I so wanted to do something for my grandfather in his memory.
Mm,
And I don't know, these thoughts came together like I realized that my grandfather the father never been in the sky and he never fly on the plane or something. And I had the really my biggest fear in my life of parasailing of the highest and to jump from the to have this feeling. And I just booked the jump for on the parasailing. And I remember that morning, I was, oh my God, I was in meditation, and I don't know how it's naturally just came to me to imagine myself as a child again and to come to that point when I didn't had that fear, when
right.
I because I didn't have time to really to go through where I catch it up, who told me or something, how it came, but I'm like, and I tried to think not, oh, I'm going through my fearness. I tried, oh my God, I will jump now. I will be so high as the birds are flying. I will know what the birds are feeling, what they are flying. And at the same time, I was like, oh, like my grandfather, I'm coming to you. I was at the same time, because like from in my head, he's in the sky and I'm coming to his closer. I was also afraid of that, my feelings. I'm like, what's going on in my head? But at the same time, I was going and the jump went so smooth. I so enjoy it. And I'm like, when I got back to Earth, I was like, wow, I went through my biggest fears. So I like, I can do it. And actually, it was really so enjoyable. Nothing was scared there. And my last, and then really my fearless journey began in 1 month. Actually, I left my job. I had the remote job that time here, and uh, because one moment I came to the thought that I don't really like what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I work in customer service that time before I didn't like on programming. I work in the visa agencies. I realized that I don't really like what I do. I'm there just because I'm afraid that I will cannot financially support me. Like the DJing that time was just like a hobby that I was learning, studying. So I had the same time the regular work. And when I returned to the Bay Area, like so, yeah, I quit my job. I went to the Burning Man. That time we met with you, and I was like
Mm-hmm.
full of that energy. But after that, actually, the life started like in San Francisco and Bay Area, and I came back from Hawaii, and I realized I have my full of apartment of 10 years of belonging, my car, my cat, and I And I thought first that I will like very quick now like to do something with all that stuff and like we'll come back to Hawaii. But in the moment it started to be so hard like because each thing have that some memory or some value to me. At the same time I realized I didn't really went through emotionally broke up because I right away
Yeah.
went to Hawaii and I came back. So and I get to the same environment. So that thoughts also came, and I didn't even realize how the life again like started. I start to play, I start to do, uh, and in one moment I haven't realized I'm getting to the new lease to rent the studio in San Francisco,
Mm,
and the again the life started like I started to play on the parties, events, DJing because I didn't had the work anymore, like the regular job, like DJ events. But inside of me, I start to feel lost. This wasn't like the truth anymore. Uh, I was like, where I didn't understood where I'm rolling, and I got to depression because inside of me I was so miss Hawaii, and I
yeah.
knew that I want to that for me that was the real life. And I remember I did that boiled choice. I just cancel like all my gigs, like didn't take any more bookings to play because I realized that also to live in the city, I will need like to find like to go to my old box, also to go to find like some another job to do regular. And yes, and I didn't really want to go that. I just wanted to go back to Hawaii. And I remember, and through my friends, I found actually the yoga retreat center where they needed like the person to help them and like to live there for free and to make 2 hours a day at work and to help
Yeah.
them. And I just catch that opportunity. I thought when I heard this, I right away felt the energy. I'm like, I'm coming. I didn't know what I'm gonna do with my car. I didn't know what I'm gonna do with all my stuff. Was I was trying to like to figure out what to do in half year, but I realized this has become really my anchor. And and I just told to my friends, just come, take wherever you want. And uh yes, and it's happened the funny story. The staff what left, I asked my friend to help me to give this everything to donation and to bring the remaining boxes to donation center, but
Mm,
he couldn't feed them to the donation like drop box, so he left them like this my boxes close by, like just on the street. And when he came back and told me that he left them just on the street, I just panicked. I was, what? On the street? There are homeless people there. And I just start to run to save me because I still had this
mhm,
connection. I saw this is my energy. I want everything I love. I was like I wanted like at least to give it to the nation, but when I uh, like got there, it was too late. I just saw like boxes and the homeless people was taking out from there like just the stuff, the whole, like how in San Francisco like there's like a lot of homeless people.
mhm,
They already like the in my someone in my blanket, someone in somebody's jacket, someone was just like in my, in and I was standing and I realized that in that moment that nothing got left. Like no apartment, no any more stuff, nothing. I and my ego just crushed in that moment. I remember my friends was staying close by and he like, but homeless people, they're also like humans. They also need love and warmth. And I
mhm.
was in that like, that's yes, that also they need it, but I yeah, but I accepted it. And I realized here that nothing got left and I don't have reason now to say no to Hawaii. I left just with luggage, with one luggage of the suitcase, mostly of the different swim suits. And 2 days later, I boarded at the plane back to Hawaii with this one suitcase. And but I felt lighter than ever I've been before. And I really realized like the now I understand, yes, I destroyed that my life, but to start it, but the new one started. Like this end, but it's always new beginning. And yeah, my ego died and my life began, and now I'm here on the big island already for 4 months. Yeah, that's, and if to be honest, now even I don't remember really what was there in the moment. It was so hard. I was holding to each thing. It was so hard to give it away in the moment, even to my friends. But now even I don't really remember what is, and I'm fine for like almost half year living without
Mm.
that. And but now everything new is building. It's true too.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. Um, so one of the last things that I wanted to talk about today is sharks. You know how much you love sharks.
Yeah.
And I want to give a little bit of background. So basically, as you mentioned earlier, you had a lot of fear to swim in the ocean, and you didn't really swim. I mean, you'd go in the water and stuff. And basically, on a couple of occasions, um, you saw sharks. I think one of them you said that you weren't in the water, you just saw it from a distance, um, and another occasion you went into the water and then you saw there was a shark, but then it swam off. And when in the water, sharks can look similar to dolphins. And, the audience should know you have a lot of love for dolphins, not just them, but swimming with dolphins. It's a very magical experience. And I remember you saying how, like, dolphins have this frequency, like we all know, or a lot of us know, that dolphins a lot of times communicate with like ultrasound and their whatever. And you're sensitive enough to have experienced some of that in a way that like left you feeling very special after your swim with the dolphins on some of those occasions. And so tell us the story of, and then obviously, going back to the sharks, when you had some of those initial experiences, you did talk to the locals about the sharks and, so on and so forth. And they shared some things with you, some tips and stuff. But tell us the story of that one day when you thought you were going to swim with dolphins, but instead you swam with the sharks and became a shark yourself.
Yeah, to swim like with dolphins and sharks, it's like, yeah, it's so big part of now of my life here and like the volcano. So like I wanted just to like as a short story along to tell quick. So when last year I came to Hawaii, I had the really deepest fear of the ocean. How so? Because for me it was really working with my fear.
Yeah.
And swimming like when you unknown like I was afraid of the waves, the sharks, everything was in it. And last year I swam just like in safe places, bays, shallow waters. I snorkel only with the groups, but I remember last year one of the big experience when I went to another side of the island and swam first time like near the shore, really wild ocean. I was like, wow, I was so afraid of the waves and what is them. But I remember after that, it was like on the North Shore in Oahu. But after that, I realized I don't want to go, like, I want more now, like, to swim there and that's to build trusting. And actually, I left. I just like was like swimming near the shores. But this year, I came to the big island, and this island is wild. The volcanoes erupting, dolphins swim, and actually, exactly where where I live, the yoga center. It was located exactly in the bay where the dolphins are coming for after night hunting for the rest. And I really see myself like as a seed with just the wind, just like bring me here. And
Mm,
I was coming to the shore, looking to the dolphins, but I was afraid, like for the first months, I was just jumping there, saw all this dark blue, and getting out right away. I was so afraid to go to swim there. And but after so happened, one man actually show up. He was like, was staying in our retreat center, and he told me, and he was swimming with them, and he like, do you want to come with me? And of course I told yes, and I remember I went like the life jacket, as- and I went with him actually for 3 days in a row. We swim with the dolphins with him, and even when he left, I realized I cannot anymore just to look at them. I just wanted to
Mm,
jump, and I for another month I was swimming also in the life jacket, so it wasn't like right away I jumped to the water and just like get felt so comfortable. And I remember came the moment when I start to feel that the life jacket it's separating me from the me and dolphin, and I want to like to dive a little bit or to swim more freely. And it came naturally in one moment. I realized like my I start to realize my power, that I could stay for a long time in the water, that I have energy to go there, swim, get there back. And in one moment I took out the jacket and just start to swim with them freely.
mm,
But one moment has happened. Yes, one time I came on the shore, 5:30 a.m., was waiting for the dolphins. I saw the fins, they coming without any thought. I jumped to the water, and when jumped to the water, I felt with my skin that something wrong, that is no dolphins there. I couldn't explain what, but I felt that something like not quite right. And I saw like four sharks, and I smelled like around half mile already, so you cannot jump out from the water. And in one moment, I saw like the sharks, four sharks coming to me. I was like, wow. And I was just before that, I mean, like saw the shark, but it was really quick interrupting near the shore. It was a lot of people around, but it's like I realized it's 5:30 a.m., no one there, and I didn't call anyone because I so wanted to swim by myself with dolphins. I thought that they're my friends. I have like this desire to be just me and them. So I didn't tell to anyone that I went to the ocean to swim with them. And I remember this quick thought. I'm like, God, please help me. I promise you from this moment I will tell to everyone when the dolphins are coming. I'm not to swim anymore by myself. But I remember that locals also told me when you see the shark, you need to stay vertically to make yourself bigger and just like. And I did that, and actually they came and they just turned, but everything was so slow mo. They come, turn, and they went to the deep.
mm.
I got back to the shore and I start realizing what's happened. Of course, all that fear start to come, and but in the same moment, I start to realize that in the moment, I didn't had really fear to the shark. Like when I was just me and shark, the shark didn't want really hurt me or to do something to me. It just like swarmed, they just swarm and went back. And I was like, wow. But of course, like I'm like, I don't want to meet any the sharks anymore. I will be more careful now. And after that, I was made sure that this is the dolphins, that they're close, I'm safe, and I start to swim. And after that, I feel like I become the magnet to the sharks. I don't know what, because when I start to swim with dolphins, the sharks start to come. And first, the dolphins tried with noise make them away from me, and I thought that they're enemies and like they cannot swim together. And when the shark come, the dolphin tried to make her way. But last week I had actually I didn't tell you that because this is completely new what happened to me. I
Uh,
was swimming with the dolphins, was beautiful morning, and the shark was swimming with me right next to me, 2.5 meter, huge one, and it swam so comfortably, and dolphins didn't want like to fight with her to put her away from me. And I was like, dolphins, you need to save me. What's going on? But they didn't, and I didn't not still, and I'm still thinking about that. But I
yeah,
was, is it like it's mean, and we just swam. I mean, like it wasn't like long swim with the shark, but I didn't had feeling to jump out right away the water. I knew that the shark could be like just because first I really thought that it's dolphin, but after it was just 1 meter away from me or half meter, like, and it's warm, and I understood that the sharks somewhere around me, but at the same time I was around dolphins, and I didn't feel like that I'm afraid, like of it, and it was so beautiful dance actually in the ocean. And I felt like everything on the place, we are all in home. And yes, and actually I'm, of course, like I'm not looking like to meet the shark now in the ocean on purpose, like dolphins maybe. But I mean, when I see it, I like, but I accepted that I could see it at the ocean and it's okay, like it's their
Mm,
home. But I believe that it will not hurt me.
wow.
Yeah. Yes, but I try to be respectful to them. I understand, first of all, I'm in the ocean and they're home, and we are the part of the same vast. And yeah, so just to be like, first of all, I think for some reason, this word right now just coming through me, to be respectful, to be respectful.
Yeah. Wow, Elia. That's crazy. And thank you so much for sharing, because yeah, I had no idea that this happened, and now
And
I
yeah,
do, and that's so beautiful. And just to close us out, I remember when we were together, one of the things that you said that was really powerful is people have asked you, you know, if you could, if you had the power, would you erase the intensity of like the sexual violence that you went through and the intensity of all that it brought onto your head, you know? And yeah, um,
I don't know if I understand, but yeah, so it was really like, yeah, quite a journey for me. And actually, finally, yeah, for I don't feel violent anymore. I feel like so powerful. And actually, I'm so thankful that this has happened to my life. I never thought I'm gonna tell it, because this has made, like, after that started to journey, what like made me that I become who I am. And it's so great feeling when like you have yourself, and also, yes, and I've finally here in Hawaii, I feel so full. So I'm thinking, how could I now to help the woman? And actually, I wrote to you for the interview, like, okay, I will start, at least I will tell my story, and maybe some woman, some girl will need it, will listen it, and it will cheer up, and she will believe to herself. And yes, and you'll feel that this is just the new beginning. It's just the old life is ruining, but it's time to create the new life. And actually, it's so great chance to build, like, from the point, what I want to do, how I want to do it, what is really my heart is like want to do. And yeah, does this happiness, like, because I remember was I was sitting and crying, didn't want to live anymore, I didn't have ambitions anymore. And in that point, I just start to do what I really love to do. And just yeah, and yeah, this is just invitation to live. And I heard actually the phrase, and I'm like, oh, I will try to tell it on the interview. I really love it. I'm like, what would even I wrote it, I will read it. I was like, put it, let me a sec. Like, what would happen if you stop asking, what if I fail, and started asking, what if I fly?
hmm,
Yeah, and so if you are standing at the edge of your own big ocean, you don't need to be ready. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to listen to your heart and take one step. The current will carry you. I so love it, and I just so wanted to share it. So maybe for somebody, this will be like this word will come to their heart too.
oh, I definitely will. That's for sure. um,
Yeah, and
yeah,
it's like always. I just want. It's like we have 100. thousand stories in our like head about why we can't, why it's dangerous, why we should stay small. I just want to tell to that girl to listen to me. Never make yourself smaller. Don't be with people who make you smaller. Just who support you. Just try to be bigger. And it's so like first it's so scary to make first steps, but this is just first steps. When you make one step, you see that nothing bad happened to you. Second step, nothing happened. Actually, it's getting better. You love it, and it'll be easy is easier. That's yeah. So not to live in not fears rule our life, but the things what we love, what bringing us joy, and yeah, and make our life happier. Sorry, I don't know. This is like it was in my heart, like this, these words.
Yeah, you don't need to apologize. Instead, thank you for feeling moved to share, you know, with us, your heartfelt prayer, really. Not just for us in the now, but for anybody who listens to it in the future. Um, so, with that, Elia, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your existence, how much I appreciate your presence, how much I appreciate your energy and your love and your drive to, you know, tap deeper into your power and make a difference and live your life in ways that were previously unimaginable to you. And with that, I want to turn to our audience and tell you that I hope that you were able to find some value in Elia's stories, because I know that she has changed my life in beautiful ways, her presence. And till the next episode, I wish you love and light. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Yes, 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 yes.
All right.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Get Out of Your Comfort Zone series. I hope it moved you and inspired you if you are feeling stuck with something in your life. If you would like to further connect with our guest, please see their contact in the description. Please consider taking a moment to rate this podcast. Please also consider showing us some love on your Instagram story. You can find our info in the episode description. Until the next episode, I wish you infinite love and light. Thank you so much for tuning in.